Over the last month or so, social media has become a battleground for gamers versus the game industry, and this battle rages on even today, with each day seemingly more intense than the last, with news coming down the pipeline like lightning, people reporting on the newest DEI push from certain game companies or different consultancy agencies that are paired with these companies, making some of the most awful games you can think of, bringing on disaster after disaster, with community managers and execs saying the worst things online to innocent people who have never done anything, and the media backing up this horrible anti-male racist rhetoric that these people push out every single day in defense of something that people don't want in their video games. And the most recent controversy, and this is heating up as we speak, is the Warhammer 40K retcon of something called the Adeptus custodes. So if you see this post from Warhammer Official, it says green or gold, pre-order orcs and Adeptus custodes, codexes, battle boxes, and more to pick your side. And somebody responded, why did you make female custodes? And this made a lot of people upset. Since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. Now, I've been getting into the Warhammer 40K lore, but in more of an unorthodox way. I've been watching a lot of loot and lore videos, and I've played at least one or two of the Warhammer 40K games, including Rogue Trader, which I find to be a really fun game. And I'm trying to make my way through the novel Gaunt's Ghosts right before I dive into the Space Marine novels. So I'm really trying to get myself into this lore a lot more. And that's been my way of catching up with Warhammer while waiting for the Amazon TV show to come out. But I feel like if we're going to talk about Warhammer 40K stuff, I think it's really important to have context of the situation. So if you guys don't know what Warhammer 40K is, it's basically a universe that is always at war. There's a bunch of different alien and malformed humanoid races that are against humanity. And this is like tens of thousands of years into the future. Just no one can stop fighting. There are horrible, horrific things that happen all the time. Apparently living in the Warhammer 40K universe really sucks. I've been watching a lot of videos by Luton. That's where I get most of my 40K lore from, because he does a really good job of breaking down what is a vastly expansive, rich lore history that spans across video games, novels, tabletop games, and all sorts of different things. I mean, it's basically a genre of its own. And the fan base is equally dedicated to the lore just as much as the people writing it. You could even say that over the years, the fan base has carried the lore, with many people creating successful YouTube channels off of just talking about it and breaking it down for people so that they can understand, like Luton. And so when people are hearing this news, where they're just going in and changing this rich lore history with just insertions of DEI pushes, it's made people very unhappy. A lot of their fans and customers are expressing their disdain at this post that they made, and we're going to read a little bit about the Adeptus custodes so that you guys can understand what they're retconning. The Adeptus custodes, known as the Legio or Legio custodes during the era of the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, and colloquially as the 10,000, is the Imperial Adepta responsible for protecting the Imperial Palace and the physical body of the Emperor of Mankind, and that's the guy who rules humanity tens of thousands of years into the future, long after their collapse and then eventual rise again. I mean, this lore goes deep, guys, and it says, as well as serving as his most important emissaries, his companions and the keepers of his many secrets, the Custodes is an elite cadre of genetically engineered transhuman warriors who are even more potent in combat than the Adeptus Astartes. So the claim that Warhammer is making is that there have been females all along. They're trying to change retcon. They're lying, basically. And I can prove this. Grums has proved this, which we'll go over in just a second. And that theory can be disproven right here, right on this page, because if you scroll down just a little bit, it says the Adeptus Custodes are a force of individual warriors, each a bastion in his own rights. From what I understand, what Warhammer fans are saying is that in no books or in any form of media has this ever happened, have there ever been custodes that are female. And Grums actually breaks this down quite nicely, saying Games Workshop, who own Warhammer, lies about custodes and retcons lore, gender flipping them in the new 10th edition codex for woke points, and possibly to prep for larger changes ahead, aka rumored female space marines, which is something that I've been hearing too. I'll prove it in this thread, and of course he has a photo of the tweet in question, and he goes on to say that Warhammer 40K is a grim, dark sci-fi tabletop game that is the #1 miniature game IP in the world. The Adeptus Custodes are the Emperor's inner guard and much stronger, better in every way than Space Marines. Yes, I was reading that Space Marines view the Adeptus Custodes the same way that the Prime Primarchs look at the Emperor. So they view these men as gods in the lore of this game. But he says, introduced in the Rogue Trader rules in 1987 as men from the very start. It says right here, the Adeptus Custodes is the Emperor's inner guard, the members of which are privileged in being permitted to serve upon the Emperor, attending to his needs, receiving and recording his directions. Sorry, that was a little fast, guys. Okay, these men never leave Earth. These men, all right? So there's another debunking right there, and only rarely leave the Imperial Palace, an endless black hive of forbidden technology and subterranean passages delving deep within the bowels of the planet. But there is more for Grumps to share. I mean, I know we've easily debunked this already, but we just gotta roast these dudes because there is so much more to break down in this video that you guys are going to find very shocking. Check this out. The next appearance of the Custodes in their trademark gold armor appeared in the Horus Heresy trading card game in 2003. He searched every Custodes card and found 0 female artwork. So he has pictures showing that there are no females in the Adeptus Custodes. And yeah, there you go. There's those pictures. In the 7th and 8th edition of the official Custodes Codexes, they are repeatedly referred to as the Brotherhood of Demigods recruited from the sons of nobles. So it says right there, it is known that all custodians begin their lives as the infant sons of the noble houses of Terra. Yeah, kind of hard to just insert females into this, especially when this is a very solidly established thing since the 80s, apparently. I mean, this has been a consistent theme moving into present day Warhammer lore. But apparently, whoever is running their Twitter can just go online and say, no, there's always been women in it, you bigot. It's just amazing. And apparently, these people are going way too far with their disagreements of the fans that don't like this step that Warhammer is taking. Grumps says community managers at Warhammer have started blocking X accounts, mocking or questioning the retcon of 40K Custodes. Games Workshop trying to put out the fire they started when they tweeted that Custodes have always had females. Somebody apparently said right here in a tweet saying, are you adding Misters of Battle and Brothers of Silence too soon? You better start talking with the Walker Texas Ranger gif. And then what happens? He gets blocked. He's blocked instead of being reassured as a customer that everything's cool. He said, I just got blocked by Warhammer. Okay, so I think they will try to block everyone who goes to the page, throwing their hypocrisy in their faces. Guys, this is absolute insanity. How many times have we seen people just go into hiding, protecting their tweets, blocking people, banning them from community forums, etc., etc.? I mean, these people are doing the exact same thing that we've seen before. It's like children are in charge, all right? Children who cannot control their emotions and will not take any disagreements. But I think that this thing goes a little deeper. We'll discuss how deep it goes right after we read a little bit more from Grumps. He says, all the artwork of Custodes have been male in these codexes. The lore is very clear about this. Custodes are a brotherhood and sons of nobles. All the artwork confirms this. By the way, one of my favorite things about Warhammer is the art. Some people create amazing art depicting some of the battles from the games and books and stuff. It's really great. I mean, the community has some terrific entries. Okay, so Games Workshop is simply lying when they claim that there have always been female custodians. If so, why is there no mention of this? No artwork, and all the fluff and released art for decades reinforces they are male. So why did they do this? He says, by now we all know the reason for this. They are rewriting the core lore of Warhammer 40K in order to pander for ESG and DEI masters, who collectively own nearly a quarter of their stock, 22.6%. And this is where things get interesting, because if you go to the website and go to their shareholder statistics, and this is something that I just happened across while searching their website, it says substantial shareholdings. And of course, this is for Games Workshop. This is their site. So substantial shareholdings, the following interests in 3% or more of the issued share capital of the company as of 29 February 2024 have been disclosed to the company. And if you look right behind me, who owns 2,162,045 shares at 6%? Blackrock. Right below that, Vanguard with 1,628,177 at almost 5%. From what I understand, those shares are not cheap. And if you want to know who BlackRock are, they are an American multinational investment company. They've got $10 trillion in assets, and they have something very, very important to share with audiences across the globe about DEI. Let me tell you what. So right on their front page, update on our DEI strategy. At BlackRock, we believe that that diversity, equity, and inclusion are critical to developing world-class talent and delivering for our clients in a rapidly changing world. In March 2021, we launched an ambitious global DEI strategy and set in motion a series of commitments to drive forward progress across 3 pillars. Our talent and culture across the globe, where we focus on attracting, hiring, developing, and retaining a diverse talent pipeline. Our activities to support our clients, which focus on expanding investment choices and business partnership opportunities related to DEI. Our impact on undeserved communities, which focuses on philanthropic efforts to contribute to and invest in the long-term success of these communities. And these are the people who have such a huge stake in this company. And this company is apparently pushing out DEI nonsense. They are trying to retcon the story right in front of you guys' faces, but they're not the only ones throwing these things in our faces, and this isn't the first time that this has happened. If you go to the Warhammer community post, and I pulled this off of that Park Place, it's a tweet that says, "Warhammer is for everyone." And this is back in June in 2020, so it says, "One of the great powers of our hobby is its ability to bring people together in common cause, to build bonds and friendships that across divides. We believe in and support a community united by shared values of mutual kindness and respect." It says, "We will never accept nor condone any form of prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer lobby. We will continue to diversify the cast of characters we portray through miniatures, art, and storytelling, so everyone can find representation in heroes they can relate to." And keep in mind, this is a couple of years old, so it's not like they haven't made clear what they're trying to do to Warhammer. And it says, "And if you feel the same way wherever and whoever you are, we're glad you are part of the Warhammer community." And it said, "If not, you will be missed. So if you disagree with us, sayonara, see you later, goodbye. We don't want you in our community." And that is a message that was pushed back years ago, 4 years later, and we are dealing with the same exact thing. Blackrock owns this company. And this company is pushing DEI through their content in any way, shape, or form that they can manage, including miniatures, including video games, possibly even future novels. And I mean, they're doing it right now. They've probably been doing it for years. And just to show you how serious Blackrock is about pushing this DEI nonsense, all you have to do is take a look at Microsoft's shareholders, their top 3 institutional shareholders, institutional investors that hold the majority of Microsoft shares at about 69.2% of total shares outstanding as of March 2024. Vanguard Group Inc., Blackrock Inc., and State Street Corp. BlackRock has 7.25% of the total shares. That is 538.94 million shares. Absolutely insane. But that doesn't come as a surprise to me, because Microsoft is pushing a product inclusion framework to their game developers, saying, do not make women beautiful, make them as ugly as possible, try to dissuade and discourage gamers as much as you possibly can, and drastically lower the beauty standards so that this DEI message that we're being pushed by BlackRock can succeed and brainwash the masses. I mean, this is some crazy stuff. I mean, they're always investing money into these companies. I mean, they did the same thing with Epic Games with their large contribution to a $1.78 billion round of funding for Epic Games. All right. And they've also invested into Sony, apparently. I mean, they're in a lot of companies, but their main focus is pushing diversity. They have made this clear. Their CEO has apparently made this clear as well, where he says it right in this video.
You have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition.
So he's saying you have to force these behaviors. Whatever you have to do, no matter what, you have to force behaviors, because that's the only way that you're going to succeed in keeping up with the current trends. They think that DEI is the future. The CEO of BlackRock, these people who have 10 trillion in assets that are digging their tentacles into literally everything that exists, so that this huge message of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is apparently a push to prop up one demographic while tearing down another, this is exactly what they're trying to do. And this is why we're seeing this sort of thing in such a big IP like Warhammer 40K. I mean, you've seen it yourself. They have huge ownership in this company. That Park Place reported on it. Grums has reported on it. Says we're all familiar with how BlackRock and Vanguard promote their own political agendas by pulling the money strings. What you may not know is that Bailey Gifford, the largest shareholder in Games Workshop, is the European equivalent of BlackRock, in that their motive is the same as BlackRock: to drive change their change. Very interesting. It says, in Instead of introducing new lore, they seek to destroy and retcon the old lore, even lying to your face to pretend it was always that way when it never was. And these people do this all the time. They're always lying and saying, no, it's always been this way. You're just a bigot. You hate women, blah, blah, blah. He says they could have brought back the Sisters of Silence to the palace to fight alongside the custodes, but instead they rewrite history. And that's all they can do. They have no creative talent of their own, so they get into these positions of power that they can change things to their will, and they do. And it causes immense backlash. I mean, this is probably just the beginning. I've seen some comments from people saying that they've been buying figurines for years, spending crap tons of money on their products, and now they've decided, I'm not going to buy any more of their products because the people who are in charge are treating the lore that has been built up for years and years like it's something that can be changed on the fly with no negative repercussions whatsoever. And this is something that fans are trying to get across to Games Workshop. As Grum says, it's time to say no in loud voices and push back on the erasing of male spaces in games. Lore should not be destroyed for true diversity to happen. This is just driving a wedge between everyone. They do not seek to include you in their new world. Fight back, don't buy the 10th edition codex, and spread the word. If you are a Warhammer 40K fan and this does not sit well with you, and I imagine it does not if you are a Warhammer 40K fan, because of how rich and dedicated the lore is and how dedicated the fan base is to that lore remaining faithful, that the core concepts are in place and that the established stories do not become tarnished by this weird diversity, equity, and inclusion push that nobody wants in their mediums. I mean, blocking people, blocking your customers when they push back against you and question why you're doing this sort of thing, that is very unprofessional. And I think that people should take that into consideration. They should take into consideration also the fact that Blackrock and Vanguard own so much stock in Games Workshop. I mean, it's very clear what is happening here. This DEI nonsense is being pushed down from the very top to the very bottom. They're trying to get as much diversity pushed into these games as they possibly can before people catch on, apparently. But I think with as lightning quick as people are becoming in this situation, it's only a matter of time before these companies either have to stand their ground and push their customer base far, far away, or at least admit the truth and try to steer the direction of Warhammer 40K in a positive direction. I mean, this is something that a lot of IPs are dealing with, and the fan bases are pushing back in those areas as well. And I think that that needs to continue here. And it's not going to go well for these activists who are in charge of these social media accounts just blocking whoever they please that disagrees with them, because this is an extremely dedicated fan base. I mean, these people have been dedicating years of their lives and money helping to build the community, to build the lore, and to help support this product that has been bringing very positive entertainment to people for many years. And though it's good to get into the Warhammer 40K lore and learn more about it so that you have a better understanding of why people love the IP so much, I think that even if you look at this from a general perspective, someone from the outside looking in, you can see how dangerous and damaging this could be for the future of this genre. And so yeah, keep talking about it, guys. Vote with your wallets, make an informed decision. That's why I make this content, so that you guys can have the information you need. But let's not pretend like people aren't going to push back against this. We already have writers for the media coming out in defense of this decision and against Grums as usual, because they just can't help themselves. Robert Evans, the only Robert Evans, he says you probably missed it alongside all the stuff that, you know, matters, but this week Games Workshop revealed that there are girls in a part of Warhammer where previously girls had not officially been. The people trying to do Gamergate 2 and a bunch of other Nazis are livid. That is insane that he calls everybody who disagrees with this Nazis. And this person, by the way, sounds like they do not know a lick about the lore, because if you heard everything I just said, any fan who knows their lore would not say what this person just said right here. But don't be surprised that this person said this, because if you take a look at their Twitter, they are a writer for other newspapers like New Lines Magazine, Rolling Stone, Bellingcat, Business Insider, and more. 263,000 followers, and he shows his severe lack of knowledge on the concept of Warhammer 40K, its rich history, or the people who are dedicated to it, apparently. Yeah, this is drawing out all those wonderful rays of sunshine who like to criticize and call people Nazis simply for disagreeing with them. And you've got more people who are doing the exact same thing. GW has made it very clear that the chuds aren't welcome. 40K is not your bigoted safe space. The more you double down, the more Games Workshop will make changes and additions you don't like. So again, after everything I've discussed, these people are coming out in droves trying to push back against this, but at the same time, they are showing their lack of knowledge, their lack of context, and they pretend that they are big fans of Warhammer 40K and that they know their stuff. But when real experts come out and start bringing facts to the table, they look very, very foolish, especially when they use old posts from 2020 to justify their positions in this situation. And of course, more nonsense. I'm tapping the sign. If you're gonna leave, just effing go. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. The rest of us would like to put fem heads on whatever models we please in peace. Yeah, well, good luck to you on that one, because it looks like the majority of the fan base is pushing back on this. As you can see here, Magenta Man says, Adeptus custodes have been around since 87. No female characters in novels, no minis, not even a mention of a female character until this codex. F off, Games Workshop. This is beyond pathetic. We couldn't have even attempted world building just a wee bit. So effing lazy, and I think that that is an issue a lot of people have. If you look at the comments, you can see some posts from a couple of customers that I found really enlightening. I am a female player. I have Ultramarines, Orcs, Chaos Marines, and I collect various minis that I enjoy like Grimaldus. From now on, I will be 3D printing. I will pirate your books and share them with all of my friends for free. This pandering is insulting and condescending. This one right here I found to be really fascinating. I've been a Games Workshop customer for over 30 years. This is the kind of money I spend on Games Workshop products, whether it's my FLGS, online stores, the GW web store, or other sources. I collect over a dozen 40K armies totaling approximately 50,000 points, one of which is over 4,000 points of Adeptus Custodes. I have multiple Blood Bowl teams and Necromunda gangs. I'm currently building a Bretonia army for the old world, and I was about to start collecting orcs and goblins and tomb kings. I have over 100 Black Library novels, and I'm subscribed to Warhammer Plus. This is a dedicated fan. This is someone who really cares about the IP and has spent his own money on this product time and time again, and he's brought receipts for it too. He said, I went ahead and canceled my Warhammer Plus subscription. That is such a shame. I mean, seeing someone so dedicated to the lore of this game and putting so much money into their products for a number of years, I mean, this is really sad to see. And he says, I'm going to pause my spending on Warhammer products for the time being and take some time to reevaluate how much, if anything, I want to spend in the future. If you're not going to respect the time and effort that people put into the setting and learn about the world you've built, if you're not going to support the customers who've helped build your company for decades, then I don't see a reason to put any effort into supporting Games Workshop in return. These are some of the things that he bought back in 2023, 2024, early on. I mean, back in 2022 even, spending a lot of money. I mean, hundreds, thousands it looks like. I mean, this guy has spent a hefty penny supporting this company for quite some time. My goodness, I mean, this is the most enlightening set of receipts I've ever seen, and this is coming from somebody who is looking from the outside in, seeing how dedicated this fan is. It really sucks to see them putting a pause on buying things and canceling their subscriptions, because I imagine other people feel the same way, and they're probably doing the same thing. I have no idea what's going to happen to their stock or if this is going to escalate. I certainly hope not, but it's affecting the fan base directly, and if there's anything that Warhammer 40K fans can agree on that should never ever change, it is what is already established in their very rich, extensive lore, because that lore matters in shaping the overall world of Warhammer 40K. If you want that universe to be stable in its storytelling, then doing things like these, retconning for the sake of diversity, not even trying to put it in the lore in a way that makes sense, just changing things on the fly because it fits your agenda, that is the most insulting thing that you can do, especially to a base of customers that spend large amounts of money supporting your work. And I just find it so interesting that all of this is happening when we're just about to find out more news about the Amazon TV show for Warhammer. I don't know what kind of weird DEI stuff they're going to push in that show, if anything at all, but I do know that this DEI stuff is getting way too out of control. And me coming at the Warhammer 40K lore as a gamer, playing their games, playing Rogue Trader, I'm really eager about playing Space Marine 2 when it comes out. I've been getting into the first Space Marine game. I've got a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot of lore to catch up on, but this is something that I've been excited about, and to see that they could be possibly trying to ruin a very dedicated and extensive lore such as this, one that has spanned 30 or 40 years. I mean, this is way back in the day, guys. This has been a thing for a while, and to see that these people who have no idea what Warhammer 40K is and clearly do not care about its fans or the lore in general, they're being put in positions where they can change the lore on the fly if they wish, and it's really insulting, and this needs to be pushed back against. But we'll see if these social media accounts can handle the heat. And that is all I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't had the chance to like it and share it with your friends, that would be awesome. And hey, if you're feeling ultra spicy, consider subscribing to my channel so that you're always up to date on what kind of thing I've got going on. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Later.
Meow meow.